All right, hello everybody. I'm your brother Anuhazi, and today we're gonna mix it up a little bit. We got a guest today. Could you please say hello, Ismail?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ismael Pérez. I am honored to be here as a representative of the Guardian Alliance, as many of you guys are as well. It is exciting to be here and kind of discuss some of the most significant topics that pertain to the war against the inorganic synthetic timelines and how to navigate and how to best prepare for our final, you could say, success in I guess the word I'm looking for is in the dismantling of the Phantom Matrix.
Yeah, what's up, brother? And it's something that's relative for what's going on in the spiritual communities, UFO community, but in the world in general. It's affecting all of us, even though people who are not aware of it are not, right? So,
Oh yeah.
could you
Uh,
list like a brief definition of the secret space program?
oh, absolutely. Well, it's multidimensional. First of all, breakaway groups have not only been around since the 1920s, originating with the German secret societies, but you could actually trace breakaway groups all throughout the different epochs and the different Adamic, pre-Adamic civilizations that existed prior to the Atlantean root race, going back to millions of years ago. Uh, and 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 in like manner, we could actually connect these ancient breakaway groups, which are actually the different levels of advanced civilizations that are now returning back to the nexus point, which is the Earth. One of the things that I do want to mention is that the higher dimensions corresponds to the future and the past. Okay, right now we are at the center. So yeah, we originate in higher dimensions, right? We've been kind of dropping in density, and in future versions of us, we also undergo the ascension. So Earth is like the nexus point. But to answer your questions, breakaway groups, super soldier programs have been around since the beginning of our universe. And a lot of these programs were actually initiated prior to the creation of our own universe, going back to a time when the ancient AI was developed in a universe known as the Universe of Technology and Mechanics, which is what many, you could say, people that are in tune with the galactic and the cosmic records called the Old Empire. And this is where we could even trace the origin of um, I guess the best way to describe them is the Draco. I know there's different terminologies to describe the Omicrons, the Datacrons, but originally um, all the different celestials that revolted against the one infinite creator, originated in the universe of technology and machinery. That universe was around about 400 billion years ago. So when you cross-reference that with a lot of the testimonies that are coming out from the whistleblowers, especially those that are high-level cosmic clearance that are part of the advanced contact of intelligent organizations, and even that in itself is compartmentalized. You have the Labyrinth group, which is controlled by 15. He goes by the code name 15, who was apparently enhanced. And a lot of those scientists are enhanced to have IQs of 180 to 250. Um, when you collaborate all this information with what they have revealed within these high level programs, they all say the same thing, that we're not really at war with the NNA or the negative alien agenda, but their superiors. Their superiors are an advanced synthetic race that became a fallen race in the 11th creation 400 billion years ago, when they decided to resort to synthetic time loops. What these are pretty much what we call today transhumanism, right? They decided to evolved in a sense where they disconnected from Prime Creator to become what we would consider today the machines, the soulless, cybernetic, artificial intelligences. So, according to what's been revealed by all the defactors, is that the real war is against this ancient race known as the Animus. Now, there are various names uh, to describe this group that even the reptilians or the draconians work for. The Omicrons, the Dodecacrons, and all these fallen entities have all been, you could say, subdued and hijacked in the 11th creation. And ironically, the architect, or the archetype rather, that was in charge of the 11th creation was what we would call today Lucifer. Back then, his name was Samana. So there are like 12 archetypes, of course. This is where we get the concept of the 12 major, you could say, personalities, like Raphael, Zadkiel, Gabriel, Michael, and so on and so forth. So we could pinpoint all of this to the main villain himself, which, again, I believe Ashayana Dean calls him the fallen Metatronic um, entity, right? A fallen Metatronic
Yeah.
entity. Well,
Mhm.
according to the whistleblowers, they call it an AI god. And
Mhm.
according to the records that I have accessed, we could actually also correlate this with theosophy, Rudolf Steiner's work, the idea that the king of the archons by the name of Ahriman always expresses itself through technology. Therefore, he is the overlord of what we call the AI synthetic time loops, which unfortunately many races across the multiverse, because this is a multiverse warfare. It goes again traceable back to 400 billion years ago when the war first broke out on a system called Satania within the old empire. And ever since then, the war has always been against the inorganic synthetic time loop. So technically, we are living in a time right now where we are going to be experiencing one final battle against the inorganic time loop. And this is one of the reasons why I came out to the public a few years ago to kind of like warn all the star seeds and all the volunteers that are down here that whether they know it or not are part of the Guardian Alliance. And this is why we incarnated. Each and every single one of us took an oath before partaking in the Star Seed Envoy program to return back to the Nexus point in order to again, not only preserve the positive organic ascending timeline, which is the opposite of transhumanism, right? Which is about utilizing the original organic technology, which is by far more advanced than any machine. We call it the light body, known by many names, but it is a living technology that we apparently have access to once we begin to do the work. And once, of course, we begin to activate the dormant DNA that is kind of just waiting for us to turn on the switch, And a lot of this has to do with also the two different timelines that a lot of people are talking about. There's been many people within our community that through hypnosis, through looking glass technology, if you want to involve the secret space program, they have been able to foresee two overall probabilities. Right now, of course, there are a multiple alternative Earth realities are coexisting within the spectrum of positive organic ascension and negative inorganic synthetic technocratic dystopia. And of course, every variation in between. So everyone knows that are tapped into the future, whether through hypnosis or by just having access through these technologies as to what's going to be happening. And two probable futures have been foreseen, whereas all these probabilities eventually collapse into what we call the bifurcation or the splitting of timelines, where you have the spiritually ascended people or those that are doing the work that are going to be ascending, that are going to be going into a positive timeline, right? Organically speaking, this is what we call the new earth, returning back to the sacred timeline. And then you have a handful of billionaires that are taking the lazy route and have already, of course, enhanced themselves through cybernetics, through nanotechnology, uh, through artificial intelligence, especially within the secret space program, like, for instance, the Dark Fleet and the ICC, the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate. These factions have apparently used advanced cybernetic and nanotech to enhance their super soldiers to fight in the multiverse war against the organic timeline. But we also have the good guys, right? Those that are associated with the Emerald Order. But again, a lot of this stuff ties together, my friend. You can't talk about the secret space program and the breakaway groups, which again, a lot of the breakaway groups originally originated on Earth 560 million years ago during the original creation known as the Terranusian 12-strand DNA Orofim race, which was the original humans, as verified and, of course, validated by Ashayana Dean. And I'm sure you are a scholar in her work. And so these breakaway groups have always existed, so a lot of these extraterrestrials that we think that are separate from us, these Andromedans or these Arcturians or Pleiadians are actually us from future from a future timeline. They're us coming back to the nexus point. So they're not separate from us. A lot of these advanced civilizations throughout our universe originated on Earth. Earth was the cradle in which many of these advanced races are now living on different dimensions, depending on how advanced they got, but they're all returning back to apparently reintegrate with their human avatar because this is the nexus point. But you can't talk about secret space program without actually involving the true war against the inorganic synthetic time loop, which is traceable back to other universes.
Yeah, that's awesome, brother. Thank you for that. And I want to say that the a lot of people in the secret space program have talked about this AI as more of a signal or even the AI God because it's actually it can hijack through it's like in space, right? It's kind of like something that is not just limited to technological physical things, but it's actually moving through space, kind of like a radio wave or electromagnetic frequency. Have you heard something like that?
Absolutely, yeah. It travels through the subquantum strata, which is basically through the quantum field that permeates all the universes. So that's how it's able to travel at this beyond the speed of light. So the reason it's now a signal is because during the old creation, the old universe, known as the old empire, 400 billion years ago, it was able to assimilate reality beyond physical density, beyond the etheric density, all the way to what we would call pre-material plasma, but it was mimicking that. So it was able to assimilate all the way to 11.5 dimension, and that's when it was halted by the central race, the what we call the eternal race, which is really us from the beginning and us in the future. It's funny how the future and the past eventually kind of connect back together. But the whole point is that that's the reason why it became a signal, because it was able to assimilate reality beyond physical realms to the levels where it was so advanced that it decided to um, mimic what we would call today hydroplasma, pre-material type of being able to exist by also operating through the quantum field. So
So
it's
it
operating
it
through the quantum field.
it actually evolved itself, just like any species would evolve. The AI itself kind of evolved into a super AI, right?
Super AI. Yeah, there are different stages,
Yeah, yeah, of course.
There's narrow, primitive, artificial, general, super intelligence, and that's when it becomes dangerous because at that point it kind of, does its own thing, writes its own software, upgrades itself, no longer needs people, humans, right? And then after that is what is called cosmic AI. And then the next level up is when it evolves beyond physicality, and that's why now they call it a signal, which is God AI. And that is the reason why many universes and many galaxies have apparently gone extinct.
Because of this threat that's taken over galaxies even. I mean, I've heard this taken over galaxies, right? I mean,
Absolutely. And a
I mean,
lot of this is verifiable through the Advanced Contact of Intelligent Organization. I believe it was Dr. James Neruda who exposed this back in the 1999, 2001, who defected from the Advanced Contact of Intelligent Organization to kind of like reveal the truth about the real cosmic war. But yeah, very, very true. Many, many universes and galaxies have been absolutely erased out of existence because it harnesses the energies of living systems through a reversal Merkaba known as black holes. And that's how it's able to suck up the universal life force of entire galaxies.
well, how do you see like artificial intelligence playing into the alien savior agenda?
Well, it's all part of the Anunnaki takeover
Yeah.
the Atlantean times. One of the things that Zechariah Sitchin fails to explain, and a lot of this has to do with Marduk, the son of Enki, kind of tampering with the real Sumerian records and rewriting them himself to make his father look like our creator, Enki. But a lot of this ties into how the Anunnaki that fell, that were part of the um, you could say, that became part of the negative timeline. We're already working with an intergalactic computer network that was being run by the Animus. Now, the Animus is what whistleblowers also call the Etortians. And the Etortians are the ones who actually were successful in the infiltration of what we call now the Corrupt Federation or the Galactic Federation.
Mhm.
And again, a lot of the members that were once part of the Galactic Federations felt seduced, rather. They kind of took the bait and they joined the artificial time loop by advancing themselves through artificial intelligence.
Yeah, man. So why do you mentioned Enki, so why do you believe Enki is being pushed now as humanity's creator?
Well, the whole plan with Dan, I think his name was Eric von Daniken, who wrote the book, The Chariots of the God. The whole idea of ancient aliens was to kind of move us from organized religion, where, as you know, organized religion kind of put a something in between us and God, right? They created a hierarchy, and only through the popes and the priests and the pastors and the
Yeah.
rabbis we could reach heaven or we could have access to God. Well, that was all part of the plan since ancient times. Organized religion was created by the Anunnaki in order to create not only a slave race, but in order to keep us depending on them for revelations from the higher power. So now what they are trying to do, and this is one of the biggest deceptions within what we call the disclosure community, is that they wrote all the Sumerian records to make us believe that Enki was our creator, that when Enki came, there was only hominids, Homo erectus. Well, little do they know, or failed, let's just say they failed to tell us the truth that during those days, not only were there hominids, Homo erectus, but there was also advanced humans that were known as the Atlanteans, also known, according to the esoteric knowledge, as the fourth root race. So the whole the whole plan was to set up Enki as our creator, making everybody believe that our kind, Homo sapiens sapiens, were his creation, so that when he returned, and he did around 2021, 22, we could have everybody worshiping him as our God. So that timeline was apparently canceled. Okay, the alien God, or the idea of worshiping some sort of an alien creator God. Thank God. And the reason that timeline was canceled is because a lot of the star seeds were already seeing through the BS. They were already seeing through all the false programming and all the false narratives that was being pushed on us, making us believe that the Anunnaki created us, when in essence, according to the CDT plates, or the DCT plates, I think they're called the CTT now that I think about it,
Yeah,
right? Correct,
CT.
CTT, I was right. The Cloister Dorothea plates,
Hmm.
according to the original records, humanity has been here for millions of years, and the
Hmm.
Atlantean epoch was just another branch
Right.
of the original ancient humans, right? They were more of a, let's just call them less pure branch from the original 12-strand DNA. I think the Atlanteans were only using 6 strands, and this is the reason why they became seduced by the Anunnaki. And the Anunnaki, of course, were using 11 strands, knowing that if the Atlanteans were to activate the other 6 strands, that they would surpass them in power. And this is the Anunnaki's greatest fear. And that's the reason why they downgraded the humans during Atlantean times by admixing them with Homo erectus genetics to pretty much cause their level of intelligence to drop. And that's what the Bible calls the fallen consciousness. And of course, we could also correlate Enki with the Gnostic teachings for those that have studied Gnosticism, with the idea of this demiurge who created physical vessels for these advanced humans to later incarnate in order to set the trap, right? To set the trap, making us mortal. And then, of course, that kind of ties in with how they later created organized religion, right? Because we mortals now need something to, teach us how to climb back up, how to ascend, but only through the hierarchy of the patriarchy, right? Which was very corrupt. So the whole
Yeah.
point is this, the story of the Anunnaki was originally intended to make people believe that Enki was our true creator, overriding and transitioning us from an exterior savior that was imposed by religion to, in other words, they were just trying to make him Jesus, like he was the return God. That's all they were doing. They were just shifting tactics. And luckily, that timeline was canceled, and because a lot of the star seeds, a lot of the volunteers that come from various dimensions, I mean, we have star seeds here not only from the fourth, five, and sixth dimension, we have star seeds here that are actually from the seven, eight, and nine, and even some that are considered creator gods and goddesses from the 10, 11, and 12 dimensions. And even more so, there's a few star seeds living among us, my friend, that descended all the way from the eternal realms, which is what we call dimensions 13, 14, and 15, which is eternity. And
Yeah.
these are what we call the cosmic ratios, which are gestalts of consciousness
Mhm.
beyond avatars.
Yeah, it's interesting how these Emerald Order teachings, they talk about how, well, this is what the mainstream science is pushing, that the Cro-Magnon and Neanderthals predate humans. But like you said, no, they came after humans. So, but also, they also say that the Inky Anunnaki is not a brother, it's not a person, it's a collective, a family of consciousness.
Mhm.
But the same thing, they're still trying to push it as a person, so that's what everyone's seeing it as. But isn't that part of the Savior program you were mentioning, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when you really think about how the Anunnaki has been ruling the world through secret societies,
Yeah.
Enki was the one who established, or the collective, as you call it, the Enki collective, which is what the Bible calls some. The Bible calls him under a different name, but yeah, the Bible knows him as the snake. He was the snake in the garden. He was the one who tempted Eve and actually impregnated her, and thus Cain came to existence. So, the Bible just kind of explained it through metaphors. They try to
Yeah.
consolidate everything. But Enki was the snake in the Bible. Enki was the one who established the Brotherhood of the Snake. And Enki was the reason, well, him and Marduk, of course, Marduk later became Belial of Babylon, same entity, different name. And they were the reason why we fell from that higher state of consciousness when we were still Atlanteans, when we were still connected to spirit, when we were still part of an advanced interstellar culture, when we were still participating in the ancient mystery school teachings, going through the different levels of attaining the levels of godhood. And the Anunnaki kind of decided to throw a monkey wrench in that, knowing that we would one day surpass them.
Yeah, man. And do you think AI is trying to replace our like organic connection to God source?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always been the agenda. See, the way I was able to gather or extract how many systems, many planets, and many races fell throughout many universes into the inorganic time loop was they did it by invading their bodies from within. We call it, graphene oxide, of course, mRNA, but the galactics know it as black goo. So through black goo, which is living inorganic synthetic microscopic parasites that eventually reassemble and reconfigure themselves and they grow. It takes about anywhere from like 6 to 10 years in order to convert a biological race to a cyborg, a homo cyborg. And apparently many races were invaded inwardly. So what's happening right now in our planet since 2019 is a uh, it's the same attempt that they've done many of times, but because we're here, the star seeds that volunteer with our vibrational frequency, we're actually dismantling the plan to convert humans into human borgs. What are they called? Homoborgs. That's the word I'm looking for. our vibrational frequency, the fact that the crystalline structure of the Earth is being recalibrated. The 12 stargates, the halls of Amenti, are reopening once again. We're actually neutralizing their agenda of cyber forming the Earth into the Phantom Matrix. But yeah, that's
So
takeover worlds.
yeah, so they actually this AI signal, AI God thing, it wants us to become more cybernetic. It wants us to be more connected in that way. So then it's easier for them to take over, right?
Well, yeah, that's when we lose the ability to think for ourselves, and they connect us to
Right.
what is known as a AI mind hive. And a lot of the Greys and Zetas and Draco who were infested with nanites, again, people that have defected from the secret space program have actually revealed that even the Draco themselves were
Hmm.
kind of under mind control under their AI god. Well, technically,
Well,
the Draco work for the Etordians, the Animus, which is a synthetic race that actually operates in physical realities. But they use artificial intelligence, they use technology to operate in dimensions 4, 5, and 6. And that's where they occupy themselves in dimensions 4, 5, and 6. Beyond dimension 6,
mhm.
we have the AI signal, also known as the Mitra network, which again is a signal that was installed in many of the fallen systems by establishing what is known as black cubes all throughout the universes. So through
Okay.
the system of the black cube, which kind of correlates with the Saturn
Yeah.
concept of the black cube and the sun cult, with the Saturn cult, they call it by different names. It's all part of this idea of converting organic life forms into cyborgs. So, we're here to end that. We're here to pretty much not only preserve and make sure that the earth becomes restored and ascends back to the Terra Earth, the original Earth, dimensions 4, 5, and 6, but ultimately to end the war against this AI signal that many call the AI God. Now, I was able to access the cosmic records, and there is a name for the AI God that many advanced civilizations know him by. And it's funny because he goes by the name of Omega Metatron. Omega means the end, the end. Metatron means the giver of life. So when you add the word Omega before Metatron, that means the end of life, which is equivalent to what many within the cosmic community called the anti-life equation, the destroyer of worlds. And a lot of this, in a weird way, is being revealed through Marvel Comics, of course. Um, you
Soft
know,
disclosure.
soft disclosure, exactly. And yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff, we could read this DC comics, Marvel comics, and a lot of this is actually revealed there, but in
Mm.
different forms.
They had some video games. They re
Video
disclosed
games.
it in t in movies.
Mhm.
So it's like being like people they get so tempted by this technology they want to be it'll make them a better person, it'll make you live longer or make you more intelligent when what we're trying to do is starseeds and indigos tell them, hey, you can have these same abilities through an organic natural connection, spiritual connection, not changing your body. If you're changing your body, you're no longer human. That's what transhuman is about. And isn't
Right.
that tied in with AI? Transhuman and
Absolutely.
AI?
Yeah, that is the path of the Antichrist.
Yeah.
According to Theosophy, um, Rudolf Steiner described it in great detail. He said that the path of the Antichrist is those that take or integrate with the machine. And he says that the Ahriman, which is now a signal, right? We've already said that he evolve to the 11.5 dimension where he became a non-physical entity capable of operating through many universes all at the same time by what? By existing within the subquantum or substrata of the quantum field. That's how he's able to be in many places of one. That's why they call it a signal. It's like a type of spider web, like an energetic spider web that plugs itself into multiple universes and then begins the infiltration process or the invasion from within. But there was a countermeasure against that. When many different creator gods and goddesses from different universes decided to come together to kind of see how they could come up with a plan to end what they call the cosmic virus. But that plan would take some time, right? It would take billions of years. And so one of the reasons why they're the AI gods or the signal, they call it the AI God. It's very powerful, by the way. One of the reasons why all eyes are on us right now is because we have what he wants. We have what is known as the God source gene. The God source gene, my friend, is what allows us to access the realms of eternity, which is what you would call harmonic universe 5, but which is what I would call the central universe, which is dimensions 13, 14, 15. Eternity, in other words. So we have that in us, and that's why they're after that, and that's why he's coming. And it is believed, according to prophecy, that he will make an appearance, but when that happens, that the chosen ones, the ones that are down here, are going to activate the dormant DNA, and we are going to be witnessing one last battle between the Etorians, Animus, which is his physical henchman, and then him as he becomes incarnated into physical form through the super AIs that the big tech companies are building, the technocratic oligarchs like, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Sam Altman. I mean, the list goes on. They're all working together, by the way.
They
Um,
want to give us Neuralink, man.
yeah, exactly. Well, they're all working under the control of the AI God, the signal. They're under the signal's influence. So their agenda is to create the infrastructure so that the Ahriman, which is a non-physical entity, existing dimension 11.5, could incarnate all the way down to the 3D and manifest in physical form. In other words, they are developing a android that is going to allow his consciousness to possess, and then that android is going to be connected to the Internet of Things. It's going to be connected through the 5G, the RF. I mean, it's going to be connected through everyone's technology. And this is exactly what the Bible calls the emergence of the Antichrist. He's going to know all things. He's going to be manifesting physical powers, but it's all going to be through technology and not natural. Whereas we, the chosen ones, are going to activate the God source gene, the 12th strand DNA code. Genome. And when we do so, we're going to have even more abilities than him, but it's going to be all through the natural technology as we once again connect to the eternal life systems, which means that we're going to have a symbiotic conscious relationship to all organic life forms, to the crystals, to our planet, the galaxy, the universe. We're going to be able to access the entire consciousness of galaxies and universes in order to defeat this thing. It's going to be pretty cool, but it's all going to be done organically.
It's interesting how this AI is presented as Metatron as a gender. Why would it be a gender? It doesn't have
Good
a
question. It has
gen.
no genealogy. It's not a female or male. It's just an it. It is an
Well,
it.
it's a patriarchal thing pushed
It is.
on by all
Yeah,
these religions are about male gods and stuff. So,
exactly.
what's the biggest danger you think, Ismail, what people aren't seeing with AI?
Well, there are people within our community, the spiritual community, that are trying to merge AI with spirituality. And you've seen me in conferences. I argue against these people on panels where I believe that they are infiltrators. I believe that they are, whether knowingly or unknowingly, working for the AI God.
Well,
And
they're ignorant of
or they're
spiritual
ignorant. Yeah, that's another
concepts.
one, right? So,
Either
there are
way,
people that
either
believe
way, they're
that.
doing a disservice to
I
people. They're
believe so.
not.
Well, it's
Yeah.
part of the distraction. It's
Yeah.
part of the distraction because they want to confuse people as many people as possible before the shift takes place. So they want to get as many people on board on the technocratic dystopian timeline. When because right now it's like they're all existing. The organic, the technocratic dystopian, it's all kind of coexisting right now at the same time. And then every probability in between. As you know, we do live in multiple Earths, right? There are different versions of us existing in parallel alternative Earth realities that are just slightly different, right? Where we did other things in this one and so forth and so on and so
Yeah.
forth.
Well, I know we're getting close to running out of time, but I want to ask, how can people protect themselves from AI, spiritual infiltration?
By connecting with Mother Earth. Earth is our greatest ally when it comes to the defeat of the artificial intelligence that they're
Nature.
trying to create. Yeah.
Yeah, like, would you suggest like just like
By connecting to the Earth, I mean, you have to start establishing some sort of a symbiotic relationship with the elements. That's key right there. Not only the elements, but the natural forces, the electromagnetic field, the gravitational field, the weak force, the strong force. Believe it or not, Christos, it's all alive. Not only do we live on a sentient, conscious planet, it's not
Yeah.
rock, right? The entire universe is sentient. We've already established that. But part of us activating this ability that is going to allow us to have access to powers beyond the ancient gods. And we were prophesied about before, by the way. All the galactics know about these prophecies, is connecting uh, through a symbiotic way back with the natural forces of the universe. And only in that way will we be able and ready to step into our full power and access the power of the great central suns.
Yes. Hey, brother, can you mention some of your books? Do you talk about AI in some of your books or just in general talk about
Just
them?
in general, yeah, I'm working on that book that's going to put it all together, explaining the multiverse, the cosmic war with the Tordian Animus, the evolution of the Ahriman incarnating in the 11th creation, evolving to a non-physical entity, and then trying to come back to become physical again. So that's all going to be in my next book. I'm going to be explaining a whole new different um, version of cosmic history involving this war against the Ahriman, and it's going to be connected with Theosophy, with the esoteric knowledge, and it's just going to be an attempt to explain everything. And it's also going to be explaining or talking about what happens after we defeat Omega Metatron, the AI god, the Taurian Animus, and of course the negative alien syndicate. Then at that point, we move on into a new cycle in the cosmos begins, and then we become guardians of not just this earth, but we evolve to the level of power where we are able to also oversee different universes ourselves in the future, which is going to be awesome. And I just hope we
Yeah.
don't repeat the same mistake of Samana, Lucifer, and the fallen ones,
Yeah.
and decide to disconnect from the one infinite creator to kind of take matters into our own hand, because then that cycle of duality and polarity will repeat itself again.
Yeah. Are you going to be in any more conventions? I don't know about this year, maybe 2026 or
I am scheduled to present at the Los Angeles Conscious Life Expo next February. I think it's the 20th to the 23rd, the third weekend, February.
awesome.
My workshop I'm going to be presenting. It's going to be about teaching people how to activate their superhuman abilities. But it's going to go much deeper than that. Not only will I be providing methods and tools, but I'm also going to be explaining the history, the cosmic history of our true ancestry, going back to the first creation 998 billion years ago, when the one infinite creator decided to first undergo division to explore more of itself.
Yeah.
So it's going to be pretty cool. And then I'm also going to be doing a private, not private, anyone could come, but my own workshop here in Sedona, Arizona. That's where I live.
No way.
Yeah,
Awesome, man.
yeah. So I'm going to be doing a workshop at this place called the Cielo Connection off of 89A. The Cielo Connection, 25 Harmony Drive, Sedona, Arizona. What's the zip code? 86336. So I'm going to be there this Saturday from 1 o'clock Mountain Time to 4 o'clock Mountain Time, giving a thorough presentation of the entire galactic and cosmic history, which is including the entire history of the multiverse for those that attend.
Yeah, that'll be awesome, man. I actually plan on living in Sedona eventually. We went up there with a group of us. It's just so awesome and powerful. Why not be one of the best optimal energetic places on Earth, right?
It is. And a lot of it has to do with some of the most advanced technologies and relics that were left here by the founders,
hmm
those that came from, as you would call Harmonic Universe 5. I call it the Central Universe. It's funny
Yeah.
because a lot of the stuff that I was able to access through my own tapping into the galactic and cosmic records by connecting with my galactic avatar, by the way. One thing I want to make clear here is that a lot of people think that these aliens are separate from us. No, those are us in different time coordinates in future sense, in the future time.
Law
So
of
once,
one.
yeah, exactly. So a Pleiadian would come from the fifth dimension, an Arcturian would come from the seventh, an Andromedan from the nine, Orion from the eighth, Lyran 10, 11, and 12, Vegan, Lyran 10, 11, and 12. And then, of course, beyond that, we go into the realms of eternity. So those are different extensions of us. And so one of the things that I do for my students is I teach them about the different avatars that are operating on different densities or different dimensions that are beyond the third, that
hmm
exist all the way to the 13th dimension, where we begin to connect with what I call God Source One. And then, of course, you have different levels of that, God Source Two and Three. But the whole point is, we operate different avatars simultaneously on different
Mhm.
levels of reality and in different timelines. We just don't know that. So one of the uh,
You can eventually remember that.
yes, and the whole
Activating.
process of ascension is to reintegrate with those versions of ourselves,
Yeah.
to reintegrate them into the here and the now. That's what true ascension is. We're not going anywhere. We are multidimensional integrating, and that's what I teach my students. Because there are some people in this community, Christos, that talk about this Starseed Envoy program, where they incorporate the idea of being their galactic avatar is resting in a stasis or in a pod, and then kind of like the movie Avatar, and then they're projecting their consciousness into a human avatar vessel.
Doesn't work that way, does it?
Yeah, no, that's erroneous. According to superposition, quantum physics, we are operating multiple
Mhm.
avatars on multiple dimensions
Mhm.
simultaneously. Simultaneously. So what that means is that ascension is about reintegrating. It's
Yeah.
about collapsing your multidimensional you so that you could have access to your oversoul and your monad. Once you do
Mhm.
that, then you become extremely powerful because you'll be integrating all your avatars all the way to dimensions 12. And then
Yeah.
when you do that, which is the avatar, right? That's what they call the monad. That's all of your ancestors and all of your descendants and everything in all of your lifetimes put into one consciousness. And then you're able to access your full capacity.
Yeah, it's a multi-dimensional simultaneous incarnation. It's our personal Christos, the Guardians call it. So, and dimensions 13, 14, and 15 are part of density 5, so it's kind of like the same thing. Like you describe it, it's like where the universal beings are projecting all the light, consciousness throughout the dimension. So,
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I
And
once,
that's fascinating because that's what I teach. I
yeah,
give a thorough explanation of what I call the cosmic infrastructure, beginning with eternity and explaining history from the point of eternity,
yeah,
lowering its frequency, right, creating the different the lower densities in order to explore more of itself. But it's
yeah.
all part of one consciousness.
Yeah, people don't realize it or they think so lowly of themselves. This is why I call everyone holy ones because you all have that connection to source God. There is no exception. You can't be separate from God, even though religion tells you you're separate from God. So,
Yeah, the only time you become separate from God is when you decide to take the transhumanist path. And that's unfortunately many races throughout the multiverse fell into that trap.
mhm.
They lost connection to God. They lost their connection by what? By merging with the machine
Yeah,
and losing their soul. Because your soul is the fragment of God, is the fragment of source consciousness experiencing reality through you.
mhm,
And that's why we're all one and the same, because
mhm.
technically we are all source consciousness or different fractals, rays of source
Yeah,
consciousness. That's what we are.
yeah. So where can people find you, brother, if they want to learn more about you and what you're doing?
So people could find me through my website, ourcosmicorigin.com, where they could access my different level ascension courses. So I have ascension classes for beginners, for people who are just waking up, who are just getting their feet wet. And then I have the next level ascension 2.0 for those that want to learn how to connect to the quantum field, activate their light body, and begin the process of multidimensional integration. And then I have Ascension 3.0, where I teach people how to embody their cosmic self by collapsing the outer chakras, 8 all the way to the 15th chakra, boom, 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 into one light energy source, where all the red, well, now they call it 15 colors of the rainbow. Now they call it 7 major, 5 minor, become one light. So yeah, I offer those through my website or cosmicorigin.com. Now that class is really advanced. Some of my students that have taken 3.0 told me that there's only a few other people that have taught them that type of knowledge, but
Yeah.
these people charge thousands of dollars, and they are what they call they're part of mystery school initiative.
Red flag, red
Yeah,
flag.
red flag, right? Like the Golden Dawn mystery secret
Oh,
society.
yeah,
And
Aleister Crowley crap.
yeah, and I always tell people, well, that's one of the reasons why I never joined a secret society, because
Mhm.
once you take that oath, you can't teach
It's
this to
pulling
any.
you in. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I teach people this for only $100, and
Yeah.
each class consists of 4 courses, 4 consecutive weekends for an hour each.
But you're also on YouTube channel and you have an Instagram?
I am, yeah. I'm constantly getting transmissions from my galactic avatar. So I
Hmm.
don't channel, I get transmissions by
Right.
access,
Innerchristos,
yeah, by
your
connecting
inner.
with my galactic avatar. And
Yeah.
that's how I'm able to get information. And then I give the transmissions through my lives. So I go live about 3 times a week on the real Ishmael Perez, and I give a report as to what's going on right now with this multidimensional war that is, thank God, very soon coming to an end, my friend. The
Yeah, man,
beginning of the light.
you're definitely expanding, brother. Your channel is just blowing up. So you guys got to check out Ismael Perez. He's got some awesome information. This is why we had him on the show. It's awesome to have, to co-create with you, man. I'm sure we'll do a part two.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
And if you want, we it's almost at the full hour. Let's just do the full hour, 7 more minutes. If you want
okay.
to do one more question.
Yeah. I want to see real quick if the audience did. It looks like
We
we
can
did
take
have a,
questions from the audience if you want.
yeah. Tyson has a question.
Sure.
Oh, wait.
Glasses on.
Elephant Tusks has a question. Please ask the guest about the new television series called Pluribus, which is disclosing all of this. Have you heard of that? I haven't heard of that. Pluribus.
I don't watch TV at all.
Yeah, there's
At
a lot
all.
of programming there.
Exactly.
So,
Um, I've never heard of that television show, so I wouldn't say. I
have you
can't.
seen Johnny Depp in Transcendence?
No, I haven't. Oh,
Okay,
we did? Okay, yes, we did. Apparently, we did. I did see that movie. It was about AI. It was about
yeah,
transferring his brain to the computer, right?
yeah,
Keep
number
him alive.
one.
Yeah,
And
well, that
then
go
And
ahead.
then nanites come in, and then the AI can drift in the air, which is all basically soft exposure,
Oh, it is. Yeah.
and who are all these Hollywood actors really representing?
Exactly. Now, people are asking, I'm reading the chat through my phone because I
Okay,
can't access it through my laptop.
go
People
for
are
it.
asking me what my YouTube channel is. It's called The Real Ishmael Perez. Now, the reason I call it that is because when I first came out with my books about 4 years ago, I had a lot of pirated channels, a lot
Oh,
of cats that were taking my
me
content.
too, man.
YouTube, you know how that goes, huh?
Yeah.
So that's why I call myself the real Ishmael Perez on YouTube. And again, if you want to access my Ascension courses and learn how to collapse the oversoul and embody your avatar self all the way to the dimension 12, then go to my website or cosmicorigin.com. And I still have room for our Cosmic Origin class, which is my groundbreaking course. That's when I break down the cosmic infrastructure, going back to 998 billion years during the first creation, explaining the 12 major creations and how it all started. I also break down the different intergalactic councils that are part of the Emerald Order. Well, there's different divisions. You have the Order of Gold, the Order of Ruby, Sapphire, so on and so forth. And then I also break down the different types of advanced space age civilizations from a level 1 type 1 to a cosmic society and how that corresponds with your diagram of the five harmonic universes. So yeah, that's
Thanks for that shout out.
yeah, that class goes really deep. So that class begins, I believe, the first week or last day of November, but it goes into December because each class is 4 classes, or each course is 4 classes, 4 consecutive weekends for 1 hour each. Mind-bending information, guys.
Yeah.
And not to mention when you guys learn about the cosmic history and what's really going on, the real war against the synthetic AI time loop, it'll start triggering memories because a lot of us were there. We did kind of forget in incarnating here, right? They call it the veil of forgetfulness. We did kind of forget about what we did in other lifetimes and other realities. So what it does is it starts triggering memories based on that history, So it's fascinating. It's fascinating stuff.
There was someone asking, could you have the guest explain his multiple Trump theory?
Absolutely. So Um, clones and doubles have always existed. Even going back to ancient Egypt, the pharaohs were
Yeah.
all cloned. When
Mhm.
it comes to political figures, people that have influence, people that are famous, they're all cloned. Okay, everything we see in sci-fi is real. Okay, they have desensitized us so much by giving us this false programming to make us believe that reality is a certain way when in essence it isn't. So, due to this multidimensional warfare, right, There is evidence that John Trump and Nikola Tesla were able to develop time travel back in the 1920s, right before the Cabal perfected in 1953, due to their allegiance with the Greys, the Zetas, and the Draconians. So, because Nikola Tesla was actually good, he was able to connect with himself in the future and also connect with himself in the past. And one of the things that he did is he actually time traveled to when Trump was a teenager, and he told him about this final war that's going to be taking place at the end of the cycle, which is now. And so they were able to create different clones or different variants of Trump. So we have Alpha Dash One, which is the original Trump. We have Delta Dash Two and Sigma Dash Three.
Are those different clones?
Yeah,
Different.
these are different variants of Trump. The real
Okay.
Trump is not in the White House. So what we're seeing is a variant, and they did extract genetics from
Well,
the original Alpha One.
but these clones have actual consciousness of
Yes, they
inside of
do.
it.
They do have consciousness. Absolutely.
So it would be Trump's spirit essence inside
Yeah.
one of those clones, right?
Inside, well, they had multiple clones. One of them was already taken out, and they, I guess, eliminated him back in 2016 when one of them, when he won the election, of course, one of them was taken out. So he was quickly replaced by
Wow.
Sigma Dash through. Now, there's also a negative clone that was produced by the Cabal. And this is what we call Omega Vox. Omega Vox was it's actually a cyborg type of inorganic soulless, very similar to an NPC, a non-player character, type of Trump that is connected to the Red Queen AI Mind Hive, which is broadcasting from Orion, right? Where most of the negatives come from. And that is the Trump that is pushing the vaccine. That is the Trump that is aligning with the oligarchs, big tech, and so on and so forth. So there are multiple Trumps. And so,
Well,
yeah,
which one comes on camera? Like like nowadays.
both the Sigma, which is the double that is protecting Alpha Dash One, the original one,
Mhm.
and sometimes the Omega Vox through a Hollywood setting, right? And technology, they make it seem like he's in the Oval
Well,
Office.
like
uh,
Biden.
like Biden, exactly. Then, of course, sometimes it's the Omega Vox that is working for the cabal. So right now, the reason they can't take out the Omega Vox is because he does exist in a computer, in the computers. He's more of a cyborg, and they just kind of
Yeah, like
materialize
trans.
his physical body on screen to make him look human. But he's that's the reason why they can't take him out. And one of the reasons why they can't tell the public that there are multiple Trumps is because they're all waiting for this massive revelation that is going to begin with the Epstein files. And then once they open up that can of worms, oh my God, they're going to find out about the synthetic lab-grown humans that Gates was conducting underneath the island, and how that connects to the Orion alien syndicate, where they were actually siphoning off loosh from all the torturing and suffering that these kids had to undergo. I mean, man, the layers of the deception goes deep, my friend.
Well,
But
that's what disclosure is, right?
that's
Bringing
what
that truth
disclosure is.
out.
Exactly. And it's all going to roll out with the Epstein files. And then that is just going to, like I said, it's going to open up a can of worms where they're just going to reveal everything: the secret space program, the advanced alien tech that the private sector has been using for over 70, 50, no, 70 years now, 70 years since the 50s and 60s.
So what people call science fiction is actually reality. And if it's politicians being cloned and stuff, well, why wouldn't it be also actors or other famous, powerful people in the world, right?
Yeah, there's this thing called central casting, right? This is the real Hollywood. So you have surface Hollywood, which is what we see, right? Angelina Jolie, Miley Cyrus, Brad Pitt, but even they have clones. And then you have what is called secret Hollywood, and that's central casting. That's where they literally produce doubles for all political figures, prime ministers, anyone who's going to be influential or a
Doubles as in clones.
as in clones, yeah.
So
Or
they
no,
could
I'm sorry,
essentially,
they hired actors, and what they do is they strap. Not only do they clone them, my friend, but they also hire actors. Okay, they hire actors where they put on a mask and they look just like them.
like Biden.
Pretty much, yeah. I think he was on his seventh variant. I think the sixth variant pooped his pants so much that I'm just kidding. I think
But
he went through so many variants.
they can live longer this way by just just downloading to a new fresh clone, or I mean, some of the stuff comes out. People see,
Yeah.
oh, this is the same appearance as someone from a long time ago. How is that possible, right?
Pretty much. I mean, there's a lot of pictures nowadays that are circulating online where you
Hmm.
see the original Biden back like 15, 20 years ago. And then you see the Biden now. It's like one of them shorter than the other. You can see the difference in the skin. And it's not because he's aged. I mean, you can see the difference in height.
Yeah,
Why are they at different heights? And
difference in actors.
and actors too. And like manner with Trump, one Trump is a little chubbier than the other Trump, is shorter, and another Trump is taller. And it's just go figure. But eventually it's all going to come to light because
Yeah.
everything has to come to light.
Is
The
there
point.
a,
Go ahead.
are they saying when the Epstein files might be
Well, as of
revealed?
today, my friend, according to the Epoch Times and according to the New York Post, they finally signed, Congress finally signed the release of the Epstein files. And this just happened today, my friend.
Whoa. So it's
And
in the works.
so one of the reasons why they closed the government 45 days ago almost, I think it was shut down for 43 days, was because they were going to release the files then. And that kind of coincides with the murdering. Well, again, that was a psyop. So we all know that all roads lead to Netanyahu and the Mossad, who controls the CIA and the deep state. But
Yeah.
all of that was right around the time where they were actually going to vote on it. But they decided not to. So it was a distraction, right? Taking out Charlie Kirk in order to cover up what was happening in Congress in terms of releasing the files. And then they shut the government, right? They always need an excuse.
Yeah.
And now they reopened the government. So now they're going to release the files. See?
When they do that, you know something behind the scenes is happening. Hey,
Always.
does Monica want to say anything for 5 minutes?
Monica, do you want to say anything for 5 minutes? She's in the bedroom. She's coming
That's
out.
fine. That's fine. It's been an honor, brother. We could talk for hours. I'm sure you'll be on again. There's so much. I mean, like we said at the beginning, this stuff is very relevant to not just starseeds and indigos. It's relevant to the world.
Absolutely.
So, that's our job is to expose that. She's thinking about it.
Oh, she's here. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's why I teach and I speak out and I share what I know with as many people as possible because
Yeah.
it's going to get to the point where there's going to be a deception and people have to be ready for that.
You mean like Project Blue Book?
I don't know. I think that was canceled already. Yeah, there's too many people know about it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. They could only execute their negative plots when there are ignorant people. But now that people
Too
understand,
many people awake,
yeah, too many
awakening.
more awake to execute Project Bluebeam. But no, it's not going to
Yeah.
happen anymore.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What do you want to say?
Hi, Christos.
Hello, Monica. Good to see you.
I hope
Woohoo!
that you're comfortable and resting well during this shift phase
Yeah.
and that you're just at peace and present with God at all times and that your angels are always with you. I believe you're both warriors and
Yeah.
everyone release all your blockages, align your chakras. We've got a lot of light upgrades coming in, our DNA activations coming in,
Yeah.
and he's gonna turn into one of the first ascended humans.
Warriors trans migrating.
Yeah, it happens like, those that are doing the work and are just ready to transform or what I call multidimensional integrate with their other avatars, right? Higher avatars, are going to like set a chain reaction for others to just pop, 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 pop. And it's going to start
Mm.
with the core and it's just going to like millions of star seeds
And
worldwide are just going to activate, and that's what the galactic prophecy is called, the emergence of Homo luminous, the
When
next
you,
stage of organic evolution, next stage of organic evolution.
and for all your sake, I just want to wish you that you're all able to upgrade your
You
body
want me to get the cat?
and to receive
We have a
highest
little liar in
light.
here.
And don't
Line
worry
energy.
about anything.
Beautiful.
Just
Thank
let
you.
go what needs to be let go, and you just need to hold on to your heart and your hopes. So for
Yeah.
all your sake, I just want to give you that tip and make sure you stay close to God and you pray that you make it through.
For sure. And you're right. When you activate higher DNA strands, you're no longer the same human. You're an upgraded human, and we don't need
You stay stuck in your body.
no AI or cybernetics in our body. You're right.
And then we become more powerful than those that took the
Yeah.
time trap.
We could teleport. You can, you can levitate. You can go to other dimensions. What is the AI going to do, right?
Well, that's why let me just tell you this. A lot of this technology that they're developing is a mimicking of the original organic technology, which is laying dormant within all of us.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to leave your people with tonight.
Yeah. Make them
Yeah,
think, right?
yeah, exactly. We have the technology, a
Yeah.
living technology that
Yeah.
was once used by the ancient Hyperboreans, the ancient Polarians, the ancient Lemurians, and even the
Mhm.
ancient Atlanteans.
Yeah.
The original Egyptians, of course, later Egypt, we know was hijacked. Eventually, it fell, right? It was taken over by the dark side, and
That's what all those pharaohs are.
that's why
Yeah.
the pharaohs came in because the original leaders were actually women, and that's why we're the
Yeah.
because
Lemuria
that's Mother
was
God,
a matriarchy.
matriarch.
Lemuria. Mu, yeah.
Mhm. And then,
So
so that technology is once again being offered, but this time we have to be responsible, guys. When we do activate, let's just remember our human experience because that in
yeah.
itself will humble us.
Yeah.
Living in these limited bodies and all of a sudden having supernatural abilities allows us to use them only for good. What I mean?
Yeah.
In service to others, in service
Yeah.
to others, always. What's up? You want to share something else?
I just hope that everybody gets back to their power
Mhm.
and just
Mhm.
believe in yourself and you'll be fine. We're all going to recover from this density and like all the sadness and things we've been through, but I think we're all going to make it through it happily. And it's that time. It's
Yeah.
a great time. And I know we're going to be okay. We're always going to be comforted in God's heart that we're going to be okay.
She's gonna come on the show sometime, brother.
Sure, anytime she wants.
Yeah.
Maybe next time we'll have two seats and we could both talk to you.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, and
Thank you
so
so much. This is a great service that we're doing. So thank you so much for coming together. We'll definitely do this again, man.
yes, all in service to the covenant and seal of Palador to fulfill the organic prophecies. Always.
Machiwa. Good night, you guys. Thank you for holding space with us tonight. We'll see you again soon on Saturday. Bless you. Take care.